Hey there, thank you for another installment from the Creedmoor Elementary Library. Today, I'm going to quickly demonstrate how you can set up your Edpuzzle class and use this in your classrooms. It's a really great tool, especially when we are doing rotation model. If you want to share some online content with your students, but you want to make sure that they are viewing it and they're connecting and they're engaging. This is a great tool that you can use because what it does is it allows you to embed questions, videos, descriptions, all kinds of things into online content. You can create your own content, or what's really cool is it's connected with YouTube and another a list of other online resources that you can connect with, get that online content, and then add your questions. Or there's a lot of lessons already available to you that you can use and assign to your students, or you can edit. So let's get started. So it is edpuzzle.com. So if you'll go there, and then you're going to need to sign up. If you have an account, maybe you've looked at it a few times, you can do login. I'm going to log in, but if this is your first time using Edpuzzle, you'll do sign up. I'm going to click login. When it does ask you, you're going to say that you are a teacher, and I would highly recommend creating an account with your Del Valley ISD Google account. So I'm going to sign in with my Google account because that's what I've created. Okay, so you are taken to the main landing page. What you're looking at here, and again, this is just a very brief overview. We're going to do an additional hands-on activity at our staff development in December, right before the holidays. So this is just quickly how to get it set up, get your classes set up, and maybe how to access a bit of content so you can get going. Go ahead and start using it in your classrooms. It's really user-friendly for, I feel, both the teacher and the student. And then maybe you can come with some feedback for the hands-on activity in December. So what we're looking at is different type of videos and content that is trending. But we're first going to set up our classes, okay? And what's really great, because we are a Google Classroom school, is we can pull, like a lot of other apps, we can pull our students in from our Google Classroom. So we're going to click on My Classes. And then we are going to, you can see I have a couple set up here that I've used with other groups, but we're going to click on Add a New Class. And then if you wanted to start from scratch, if for some reason you didn't want to use the Google classes that you have set up, you don't have to. You could click on the top option, which is create a new class. And this is where you would manually key in those students, and they would use an access code, much like Nearpod that we use to get access to your Edpuzzle class. But today I'm going to go with Google Classroom because, again, so many of us are using it. And then you can see a list of all of my Google Classrooms for this year that I'm using. I do not have a class set up for my Battle of the Books team, and this is something that I do this year and tend to use with them as we are preparing for the competition. It's going to be really cool. I'm really excited. So I'm going to go ahead and set up that class for those students. So I'm going to create Battle of the Books, and then I'm going to click on Import Classes. All right, and just like that, now you can see it automatically took me back to my classes page, and you can see there are the Battle of the Books class. So I don't have many assignments due. I'll show you briefly how to do that. There's no due dates because obviously I have nothing assigned yet. If you go to Students, you can see here, these are my students that are currently enrolled. These are my Battle of the Books kiddos, and they're enrolled in my Google Classroom. So see, just like that, my class is set up, my students are enrolled, and I am ready to give them their first assignment. The quickest way to do that is if you go up here to the top and type in search content. I'm going to just, because students came in today asking for a lot of books on rocks, I'm going to just type in types of rocks and click search. And you'll see that these are all of the Edpuzzles that are already created here. Most of these are user-created content. And then you can see how long it is. It'll tell you the time. Here, it's the number of questions or interactions, I like to call, that it has that you can look at. Here's some videos from YouTube that are really popular that most likely teachers have created content from. And then you could click see more and you can go down a rabbit hole of all kinds of videos on types of rocks. But for today's purposes, let's keep it short and sweet. I'm going to click on this one because the teacher was actually using it today. Types of rocks. And then if you scroll down, you will see that there is 193 video versions of this Edpuzzle. And what that means is there has been 193 teachers or educators that have logged in and created some variation of a lesson from this video. And you can see the top ones here. Again, you can see the time and the number of questions or interactions. So I'm going to say I need a video that's about 3.5 minutes long, and this one has 9 questions. I'm using it with my 4th grade students, so I don't want to give them too many questions. So I'm going to click on this one that Miss Sarah Eberly created. Here you can see the video, and then when you see the teardrops, this will actually be the questions or interactions. So you could sit and watch the entire video and interact with it, but what I like to do, I always like to review the questions before I assign it. Sometimes I will assign a Edpuzzle as is. I will not do any edits, but I always do like to go through and look at all of the questions. So I'm going to click on the first one. We'll watch. Okay, so it'll pause. So what it's going to do is at this point, it's going to go through the video. And in the first one, it's going to stop. And you'll see this multiple choice question is going to pop up for the students. I'm sorry. And it says, what are the 3 types of rocks? Igneous, metamorphic, metamorphous, or sedimentary. And then they're going to click it. And then they would click submit. And they would move on. I'm going to say skip. Let me pause it. So you could go through and like I said, you could answer all of these questions. You could interact. I'm going to go to the second question. Okay. Again, it would continue to play the movie, and at this point, it would stop it, and it would ask the students another question. So what does igneous mean? Okay. So if you're like, you know what, I think this is something that I'm really liking, but you know what, I want to tweak it a little bit. Maybe I didn't like that first question. I want to edit it, or you know what, I maybe add a couple additional questions. You can click edit right here. And from there, you can go in and you can see each question and you can make changes or edits to that. When you are done, you can click finish. And then here is where I would assign it to my students. So again, I'm going to assign it to my Battle of the Book students because that's my class I just created. Start date. Your start date is going to be when your lesson will be active and live for your students. So say maybe, and I will also say really quick, this is a great tool if you have a sub. I know that we have some amazing lessons in Nearpod. We use BrainPop, but just add this to your list of tools that you can use while you're out. So say it's today's Friday, but you know that you're going to be absent on the 11th. You could make the start date as the 11th, and the students won't be able to see it in Google Classroom until then. And then the due date, obviously whatever date you want it to have them have it done. So it could be that same day, it could be another day. I always click this here, prevent skipping, so that will not let the student fast forward to just the questions. It will force them to sit and watch the video in its entirety. How we were able to go and actually click on the questions and view them, it won't let the student do that. They click play and that's it. They must roll through the entire video, interact, answer questions, and that's the only way they can complete the activity. So that is something I like to include for my students. Turn on closed caption if that's something that I always do it because it's also a great tool, especially for those students who might have IEPs or need that accommodation where they're going to have that visual and auditory piece. And then this one is great, post in Google Classroom. It will actually create an assignment in your classroom so that your students aren't having to then go into Classroom, click on a link, log into Edpuzzle. It will automatically take them to the assignment that they need. Easy and done. Like I said, really great, especially when you have us up. When you have everything ready, you just click Assign here at the bottom. And again, you can see right here that this is your status board for your students. Say you can assign this in real time in class. So say that you're doing an activity and then you turn it in, or you activate it in assignment. Once you push it out to those students, say they go to their Chromebooks, they get their laptops or their iPads, and they start interacting, you will actually see a live version of how they are progressing through the activity. All right. Well, that is what I have for you today. Again, we're going to do a live demonstration and we're going to talk about creating some of our own content in Edpuzzle because I know that's something we'll be working on in our curriculum writing workshop in January when we return from the holidays. If you have any questions, you know where to find me in the library, especially on Fridays. Don't forget, I have tech hour from 12 to 1. So you can stop in and ask questions. You can give me a ring, shoot me an email, and I will be happy. Sorry, guys, it's late. I will be happy to stop by your room and help you out or give you a little assistance. Thanks. Until next time, have a good week.